Welcome back to the Gonzalez show, and today we're going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills offense. The Buffalo Bills had one of the most heartbreaking ways to lose their season last year. In a game against the Kansas City Chiefs with 13 seconds left on the clock, they kicked the ball off. Their offense has just come off scoring its final touchdown of the season, them unknowing of that, and them believing that they're going to the AFC Championship to host against the Cincinnati Bengals. Then Patrick Mahomes drives down and, out of this world fashion, gets a field goal, puts it into overtime, and the Buffalo Bills never get to touch the ball again. It's one of the main reasons for the overtime rule change. And now you're looking at what do the Bills have to rebuild themselves and try to get back to put themselves in a position of where they were last year. Well, looking at their offense, you've got Josh Allen, their starting quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Whether you believe he's 1, 2, 3, those are the main spots that he should be at. Maybe you drop him to 4 if you're a Brady lover and still believe Brady's a top 3 quarterback, which he still could be, but I would have Mahomes, Rodgers, and Allen as my top 3. Not in any particular order, just those 3 guys. Now you have your running backs. You have Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Duke Johnson, your 3 main veteran running backs. And then you've got James Cook, who they added from Georgia this past offseason, who actually can be a very good third down back, someone who can get a screen here and there and take it upfield and try to open up the offense to a passing game, unlike Devin Singletary, who's going to be more of a first and second down running back who can kind of run through the gaps. Now looking at their receivers, you've got Stephon Diggs, you've got Gabriel Davis. Those 2 guys are returning, but to replace Cole Beasley of Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder is actually one of the most underrated signings in my opinion due to how well he played in New York last year. He played with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson got hurt. He had Flacco, and he was able to stay steady. He still was able to play well. He had guys like Elijah Moore getting better and better, and he still was able to keep his production. I think it's one of those team-friendly deals that can actually benefit the Bills in a massive way. Now looking at what does he have behind him, he has Khalil Shakir, a rookie who they got from Boise State, who can kind of be a rotational guy and fill in spots when Stephon Diggs, or Gabriel Davis or Jamison Crowder, one of those guys gets tired. And then at tight end, you have a 2 tight end set that looks really good. Dawson Knox, O.J. Howard. 2 guys who are either up-and-coming tight ends or have the potential to do so. O.J. Howard, we know, has the potential based off him being a first-round pick. Him being one of those guys that people talked about saying, oh, this guy could be really good if you pair him with the right quarterback, and just trying to build his career that way. I think with him being with Josh Allen, where Josh Allen can fling it from anywhere on the field and hit a guy perfectly, it opens up O.J. Howard's ability to be better. Although Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, he does have a quick tendency to have guys he needs guys to trust. So he had Edelman, he had Wes Welker, he had Randy Moss, he had Gronk. But when those guys are taken away, he doesn't really trust those backup guys. He will throw to them, but there has to be a level of trust between the 2. With Josh Allen, we've seen him with new players who, no matter who it is, him just sling it. And I think O.J. Howard may need that because of his inability to get really good rapport with guys like Brady and his past quarterbacks, Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick. So now you're looking at your O-line. You have Deion Dawkins, you have Roger Saffold, who they got from Tennessee, Mitch Morse, Ryan Bates, and Spencer Brown. 4 of those guys are returning, with Roger Saffold being the one guy they're getting from Tennessee. I think this offense can be very dangerous as it was last year, and even more with all the amount of weapons they added this year. And the one thing that you really have to give credit to is how well they've built this team. With losing a guy like Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator, it's going to be a challenge. But when you have a guy like Ken Dorsey, who people spoke highly of, mainly Josh Allen and Gabriel Davis as the 2, it's one of those things that you can be prepared for and say, hey, look, we have a guy who's been our quarterback coach for a few years now. We promote him and we're building from within, which is something you want to do because it keeps a level of trust between the quarterback and the OC that's already been built rather than them trying to build it throughout mini camp and training camp.